G'day guys, how you doing? It's the Kiwi and I'm back with another video. And as the title says below, what's up with all this craziness that's going on in the world today? I mean, there's just this plethora of absolute asinine buffoonery. So what's going on? What's actually causing these issues? What's actually behind these situations that keep on coming to the surface? And certain groups of people just run with this stuff and utilize it in such bizarre ways. It's like they're trying to control the world or trying to get the world controlled in a certain way, right? So the interesting thing, especially with this COVID-19 situation right now, I mean, the level of asinine buffoonery around this supposed pandemic has been absolutely unbelievable. It hasn't even touched near the amount of people as the H1N1 virus of 2009, and then you got SARS and MERS and all this other stuff. I mean, just the swine flu itself in 2009 killed over 63,000 Americans. So you add the people that died from the swine flu in with the people that died from the regular seasonal flu, you know, you're looking at 120-odd thousand Americans. I mean, that's some pretty serious figures. I mean, we have New Zealand completely shut down right now, and we have less than 1,000 cases of COVID-19 and only one death thus far. So there's something else afoot here. There's something else going on. So, excuse me, a little bit of dead skin there. So to really start getting to the bottom of this, I need to go back to actually 2009, June of 2009. I went to the presidential library, Ronald Reagan's presidential library in Simi Valley, California. And I took my auntie and uncle along with me, and my daughter also. And it was very interesting because one of the displays that they had there at the Reagan Museum was they had a bunch of Reagan's journals laid out. All these journals, right? They're all on those A4, I think they're A4, those yellow legal pads. Reagan was a phenomenal journaler, prolific journaler. So my uncle and myself got reading these, right? Sorry about that, I just got this annoying piece of dead skin on my frickin' finger. But anyway, what happened was I got reading one of his journals, and in this journal he was talking about how he was having a hard time trying to avoid passing a bill. Congress, or however the legal system works in the United States when it comes to passing a bill, Congress, I think, was forcing him to pass this bill, this law. And he didn't want to do it because it was the wrong time to pass this law, this bill. It was going to have resounding detrimental effects to the United States economy, etc. And in the journal, I got one of the people that work at the library to actually turn over the pages. He had been conferring with his own personal astrologist. And just remember, I'm setting you up here to understand how this stuff works. So you need to listen to what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you to go down this path. I'm just giving you an outline of how this stuff, how everything's working in the world today. So Reagan didn't want to pass this bill because conferring with his own personal in-house astrologist, he and his astrologist realized that it wasn't going to be beneficial and good for the country if they passed this specific law at this time because of the planets and the suns and the moon and everything like that, right? So I took that little bit of information because it was 2009. I'd already been doing my serious, deep soul counsel shadow work with basically this woman that was a shaman, is the best way to describe it. So I was getting up to speed with this ancient esoteric knowledge, all this ancient esoteric wisdom and what have you. I could see how things were working inside of me, right? So I took what I read at the Reagan Library, went home, on the internet. Wow, holy shit. There was a lot of US presidents that utilized shamans, astrologists, people that could kind of read the future and all that sort of stuff. And then you had this group of guys right here. These fellas. Who are these guys? What's this book about? This is what it's about right here. I'll hold it up. Read it. You get that? I'll hold it up just again for you. This is the Bible for these guys. 1,000 pages. There is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years of ancient esoteric knowledge in this book. I'm not one of them. I'm just giving you the information and explaining to you what is causing this craziness in the world today. This book actually came across my path in 2013. I had somebody he had one of these books. This is not meant to get into the hands of the public, but there's a few out there. This is an original. And the interesting thing, and when I say an original, we're talking a book that goes back to the 1800s. But the guy that brought the book to my attention read some excerpts from it because I'm from a family of Masons. Again, I'm not one myself, but because I'm from a family of these guys, I wanted to know how they worked, what was going on, what was happening. So as I got reading this book, I was just, oh my God, the knowledge and the wisdom that is in this book is unfreaking real. So when you start to see what's going on in the world and you start to research more and more and more and more and more and more and more, what you start to realize is they aren't the only group of individuals that understand this knowledge. There's many, many, many other groups. There's, for argument's sake, there's two specific groups of people in the Middle East that understand and know this ancient esoteric knowledge. There's also a group of individuals in Italy that have their own little city inside a city, walk around with little funny hats on, wear robes and everything. They know this ancient knowledge. There's societies, at specific universities in the United States that know this ancient esoteric knowledge. And what you've got is you've got a group of individuals around the world that understand this knowledge, and what they're doing is they're all vying for their own little piece of the pie, their own little piece of the power structure, right? And what they're doing is they're actually using all this knowledge against you. That's what they're doing, straight up. And because of how they're using it today, it's actually going against the actual rules of creation, God, the universe, nature. Just so I don't freak you guys out, I'm going to call the universe, creation, God, I'm going to call it nature, the laws of nature, because it's all one, okay? Everything's all one, okay? Now, the interesting thing is as you actually study this stuff more and more and more, you start to realize that, one of the things that I learned, and again, it's in this book, we go through what we call a solar cycle. And science has proven this. NASA's proven this. The sun rotates through its own solar system. Astrophysicists actually know that the sun rotates through its own solar system. And they've estimated that it takes roughly around 26,000 years. So that information is actually in the Mayan calendar. Believe it or not, the Mayans knew this. It's in the Chinese zodiac. It's in the regular Western society zodiac. When you start studying and researching all these ancient esoteric beliefs, all this knowledge, you see it opening up. It's in modern day Christianity. You can actually find it in the Bible. It's everywhere around us. but it's not being taught correctly. It's being utilized as a form of power and control over us. Okay? So, the reason why we're seeing this craziness is as we go through this 26,000 year solar cycle, that solar cycle, the sun goes through 12 different phases, okay? And those phases all represent a different time period. So you literally take 26,000 years, or thereabouts 26,000 years, and you divide it by 12, and we end up going through these 12 different phases, and each phase is roughly around 2,100 years, okay? 2012. Oh, by the way, it's no accident that your regular clock, just your regular clock, you look at a regular clock face, look at how it's divided into 12 sections. It's been designed that way. They've known about this stuff for thousands upon thousands of years. This is how it works. I'm genuinely, unequivocally telling you how it works. What happened in 2012 is we transitioned right into a whole new time frame. And when you transition through these time frames, you go from one period of time and energy, and you transition into another time period of energy. Okay? And 2012, we should have been celebrating. This should have been a global celebration because to be actually living on this planet at this time and to go through this transition is actually one of the biggest transitions in that whole 26,000 year cycle. It's freaking huge because they're two diametrically opposed power structures or two diametrically opposed forms of energy. One form of energy was all about power, control, power over humanity, power over energy, power over everything. And this new phase is about consciousness. It's about waking up. Look at how people are waking up right now. Look at how people are getting up to speed. It's about learning about who you are as an individual. It's about understanding how your consciousness then fits into the combined human consciousness of humanity, and then how humanity's consciousness actually affects all of nature, everything, because as a form of energy, as quantum physicists have actually proven, this is an energy field. So everything that we do, every thought, every word, every action has an equal and opposite reaction to us. So everything that we put out there, we get back. No matter what we do, good, bad, or indifferent, we get it back. So what we've got is we've got this old power structure that has, as of 2012 and back, it's gone and done. And what you've got is you've got these specific groups of individuals that are vying to hold on to that old power structure. Now, if there's one thing that we can most probably all agree on, and that is that nature is brutal. Nature just carries on moving forward. It never looks back. It just keeps on plowing forward. Look at what happens when a human being dies. Does the planet stop? While you're there crying about a loss of a loved one, and your life is just absolutely demolished, and life is just miserable over the death of a loved one or the loss of something important to you. Look at how the world just carries on. It's just like a freight train. It just keeps on moving forward. There's no moving back in any way, shape, or form. Period. So what you've got is you've got this old mindset, this old group of beliefs and everything, that power over people, control, manipulation. Look at when you take the thought of power, look at the wars, look at what we've done, the bombs, the nuclear bombs, all these different power structures that we have, the power of a jet engine, the power of a twin turbocharged V8. Look at the different power structures that we have in the world today. That's gone. But you've got this group of people now that are holding on to that old power structure. They're just like, oh no, and nature's just plowing forward. And these older guys, these old beliefs, these old ideologies, you can think about old ideologies. Anything pretty much with an ism is going to go bye-bye. Feminism, gone. Communism, gone. Capitalism, that's going to go. Anything that's got anything that's got a false belief, a false ideology, a false premise that goes against nature, it's going to get plowed away, and we're moving forward into this new time structure. So with these old guys hanging on to this stuff like nothing else on earth, that's where the craziness is coming from. The craziness is coming from these individuals because they have so much power and control over the media, the military, the police departments, the governments, the politicians, and it filters from the top of the pile. These guys here are at the top of the pile on top of the other individuals. Another good example of a group of people that understand this knowledge, that are at the top of the pile, and that one family, they're worth trillions of dollars. It's the Saudi royal family. They're behind all the terrorism in the world. They're hanging on. Everybody's hanging on for their own little bit of the pie. And it's going bye-bye. And as we keep on plowing forward into this new time period, you're going to see more and more craziness coming from those individuals that are actually trying to hold on to their old ways, this old power structure over here. And it's just going to keep on plowing on. That's all there is to it. So the next 10 years, that's why they have pushed out, like the whole Agenda 21 is now Agenda 2030, and they've pushed that out to 2030. So from 2020 on, you're going to start seeing some really asinine buffoonery going on. But there's actually more behind it, because 2020 is about having a clear vision of the future. It's about understanding who you are as an individual and learning about who you are as an individual. And that's what the next video is going to be about. Because even though you got this craziness from this old power structure over here, we're plowing forward into a new consciousness, a new understanding, a whole new form and version of humanity. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. It's in writing. It's right there. It's in so many different forms of ancient esoteric knowledge. You can't not see this happening. So I want to help you guys actually get through this. I know some of you fellas are going to be like, oh my God, this dude's lost it. He's like, cuckoo. But I have to go full disclosure. I've been dancing around these subjects for years now. And I know I've helped a few of you out. Thank God. I can't get over that. So it's going to get pretty rough over the next 10 years. So I'm going to try to give you as many tools as I possibly can from here on out in regards to being able to deal with this stuff. So until the next video, fellas, make it great. Alrighty? Smile. Be happy. Talk to you later. Bye.